Hello everyone and welcome back on this channel. In today's video I would like to share with you some story times which are related to Vinted. So the first story. I once bought a jacket that reeked so bad that I hung it outside for a week and it still smelled strongly. I never wore it and ended up giving it to a friend who smoked. It was literally years later and still stunk. I know, because I had moved house and didn't know her before I had moved. Unfortunately, I was in the habit of accepting as soon as I got notice something was delivered. That was the last time. And yeah, I can really say I can relate with this one. I always try to check everything before, and I think this is a great example to do it as well, especially because you have like 2 days or like 48 hours to check everything if it's okay, if it for example suits you, if you didn't really get scammed. Next story. I bought an expensive 3,000 piece puzzle. It arrived packed in a crappy box, and the box of the puzzle was not taped shut, nor was the puzzle in the bag. So yeah, pieces were everywhere. I have nothing to say to this one. I mean, I didn't really know that people still buy puzzles, which is like great because I feel like nowadays people tend to stick to like social media and some kind of like online games, so this is great. I like this one. Oh, this one is long, very long. A couple months ago I was messaged about some 10-euro item I was selling, a very simple generic ring, nothing valuable. The buyer asked me for a ton of additional photos, literally in every possible angle, which I kindly took for her immediately. The photos were never enough and she wanted to know the exact materials the display box was made out of, where I got it from, if it had any tiny scratch marks not visible on 20 to 30 photos I sent her. If it was the same item she found on some random website for cheaper, etc, etc. And if I would do a discount if I sell her 2 items together. I hate those people. I took the offer and made the bundle. She then proceeded to ask me for more additional photos in weird angles that I couldn't even understand, and other kind of unimaginable questions. Told me she had OCD and wants every single thing in 100 pristine condition. Then why are you trying to buy something from marketplace where you know that those things are mostly like from second hand, like they are used? I love this so much. All of this took 2 days when I even told her I was busy with other stuff in my life and I couldn't manage to be on my phone all the time, answering new messages every single minute. In the end, she messaged me on a rude way, telling me she doesn't like when buyers leave her on scene. I wonder why they do that, lol. Ended up blocking her after that. I wonder, how do I have this much patience? Totally my fault, I know. What has surprised me the most was the fact that she had a 5-star rating with more than 500 comments, if I remember correctly. I am too stunned to speak. I have nothing to say to this one as well. I mean, maybe the thing I also hated when they ask like ton of questions. I mean, I understand that you maybe want to ask for, I don't know, measurements or like for better lighting, but I mean 20 questions for one thing, like really? Why? Next story. I had a girl asking many questions about jeans, measurements, if they are loose, it was skinny fit, if they were push-ups, etc. I told her that I cannot tell her if they are tight or not. The style is skinny, but it depends on the measurements. Then she asked for pictures on me. I told her they are too small for me and I cannot even put them past my ass. She said it's not a problem and I can send the pics like that with pants down around my knees. It sounds a little bit creepy for me, or maybe she had OCD as well. Who knows? Next story. Someone once asked me a million questions about a skirt. They claimed to be a teenage boy who was insecure about whether he could pull off wearing a skirt and asked me how he could style it and so on. At that time, I felt kind of sorry for him and answered all the questions and tried to encourage him to wear what he wants and so on. In the end, he didn't buy it and asked me for pictures of me wearing it so he could get a sense of the style. That's when I blocked him and felt dumb for playing along for so long. But the story sounded genuine in the beginning and matched the profile, so I don't know. I mean, at least this one was quite creative with, your photos, so at least that's something. And yeah, I like the comment with this one. Someone answered or replied, "That's what we get for being too nice. Sometimes I guess I love being helpful, but sometimes I just feel stupid answering so many questions, being friendly, sending 100 photos of the item, especially when it's such a straightforward, cheap thing, and they end up getting weird and have no intention to make the purchase after all." Yeah, that's true. That's true. Next story. I purchased a couple of art books. I got them for decent price, so I was quite excited about this item. They were well packed, boxed, and bubble wrapped. I was having a difficulty opening it because I was being lazy about getting a pair of scissors. When I opened the outer box part, there was a strong smell of deodorant or body spray. Bit weird, but I didn't think too much about it. In the days of handwritten letters, women would often add a little perfume for their view. I reached in to pull out the book from the bubble wrap. Then I noticed another odor, a strong fecal smell. I have cats, so I thought maybe one of them had just made use of a little tray and continued to pull the book from the bubble wrap. The smell got stronger. Finally looking at the books, I noticed one of them had stains that were hidden in the listing. They smelled disgusting and I was handling them. Honestly though, the weirdest part was when I raised the issue to the seller. They just gave me a full refund. No request for the refund. I mean, it's win-win for you. Wow. Next story. I was selling a Gucci watch I've had knocking around my cupboard for years. So I listed it for £20. I had a buyer interested and asked me so many questions. Exact size, more pictures, serial numbers, can I show it on the wrist, etc. It's an absolute bargain. It's a Gucci watch for £20. You either want it or not. Anyway, I sold it for £15 as her messages were coming through. I mean, Gucci watch for 20? I wouldn't ask anything. I would just instantly buy it. Even I'm too stunned to speak. This is a great thing because usually when I open it, I usually see, overpriced items. For example, in my case, I hate so much when I see, those designer, packagings. Or for example, boxes. Usually it's I know Calvin Klein is not really a designer thing, but still, it's usually Calvin Klein, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, and Prada. And it's not even at the item itself, it's always the bag, it's always just the packaging, and the sellers be selling only like this. And I hate it, because why are you trying, you are the person who is buying something very, very expensive. Like, let's say the cheapest item is, I don't know, let's say 200, yeah? If you are not buying like, some kind of like small little thing or whatever. And so you have money for that, but you want to make like extra £2 or like 2 extra euros just to... I just don't get it. I just don't get it, I'm so sorry. Next story. Similar to yours. Oh, so it's so we had the Gucci watch, and now we have something similar. Okay. Similar to yours. I had a shirt for sale for £2. Someone sent me an offer for 120, and I accepted it. The buyer asked me for more pictures, close-ups, and the exact materials. I had cut the label ages ago, and I couldn't remember what the shirt was made of. She started saying she's allergic to polyester and just wanted to be sure, but I told her I couldn't be sure of the materials, so I had removed the labels. I still tried to research the materials looking for similar stuff and on the brand website with no success, but she kept asking questions and for links to the places I had searched. If I had any other stuff from the same brand to check, I did. I cut the labels too because they were uncomfortable. After several days and spending more time on this than I'm willing to admit, I decided that my time wasn't worth the £1.20, and I just stopped responding. Like, come on. Next story. This is the first time I'm doing like storytelling, and I know that most of the time I look like down, so it looks like I'm looking on the floor, but I'm reading it. So I'm not really sure how should I be. I mean, I'm not an YouTuber or anything, so maybe I should be like this, but then you see the mess, and that's the problem. So maybe I should be like this. Yeah, that's good. Okay, we can continue. I had listed a dress a while ago, I think for €10. Almost immediately I got a message from what seemed to be a nice lady who was very interested. She asked me a few questions about the size and measurements. I never mind giving that information or measuring anything for people who are interested. I get how hard it can be when you are in between sizes. That's true, that's nice. She told me she would think about it, and we left it for the day. The next day she started messaging me for details of the hems and seams and material. I had uploaded the material tag to the pictures already. She thought the dress was too short if I could take out the seam at the bottom so it would be longer, or if I could add some extra fabric to the bottom, because she didn't want to look like the lady who does usually things on the street with it on. I just told her no and left it at that. A few days later, she messaged me again about the dress. This time making an offer of €3. So I didn't accept. She told me the shipping was way too high, €5, and 15 was way too much for a dress she would have to alter. Asking if I can turn on cheaper shipping, I told her I had all the shipping options on, and it must be because she is in a remote or like far away location. She spent the next 3 days messaging me angrily about this and sending different offers every time. I eventually blocked her. And you should do it at the beginning of the conversation when she started to saying that you should add more fabric to the dress. Because you are the tailor of the dress. The next one. It was one of the first sales I made on Vinted, and I think I have been played. I sold a pair of flats that were new, never worn, and I checked them before I shipped them. Everything looked perfect. Once received, the buyer proceeded to ask for a refund to Vinted without even contacting me first, with pictures of the sole of the shoes completely detached. I was very confused on how it could have happened over 2 days of shipping, but as it was one of my first sales, I refunded with no questions asked and apologized. Now that I think about it, I think she pulled the sole of the shoes off on purpose to get it for free. Yeah, and they do it almost every single time. That's why it's better to record the process of, the packaging as well as shipping it, because that's the best way you can actually prevent doing or being in situations similar to this one. The next story. I love leather shoes and bags. I bought a pair of leather boots, didn't wear them even once, they still had a tag on. I decided to sell them on Vinted. A girl bought them from me for a little less than I originally wanted. She then left me a 4-star review. What was wrong? Firstly, the way the boots were made was not good, and she had to take them to the cobbler to fix it. Okay. The second reason, they were not natural leather. Number 2 really pissed me off, because I find myself to be very knowledgeable when it comes to leather. Even if I didn't, the shoes had the little leather icon both on the attached tag and inside of the shoe as well. I also remember that the leather was listed as the material when I bought them. I don't even buy non-leather shoes. That kept me angry for a week, lol. And with this one, this was the last story of my finds of vintage stories which I was able to find. So maybe I will also do the second part, because I have a lot of stories. So maybe if you're interested, you can hit the like button if you want to, as well as you can subscribe to my channel, and hopefully see you somewhere in the near future, because I'm not very consistent. So yeah, bye!